What they don't tell you about completing a final salary pension transfer. Okay, so most of you are here because you want to understand things about pension transfers. So when you go through an advice process, if you do any type of reading online, it's pretty damn obvious to you straight away, you're giving up a safeguarded asset. You can't transfer back to your DB scheme. You are giving up your right for that pension and they're giving you a cash equivalent transfer value in return for that. You're obviously giving up the indexation or the inflation proofing that your scheme might have in the UK. All of that stuff now, I'd say, is pretty standardized. You can find a lot of information about that on the website and also on our channel. What I'm here to talk about with you today is what they don't tell you about doing a final salary pension transfer. And it's funny because when a client gets to the end of the advice process, I often joke with them and I say, some of them are semi-retired, and I say, if you ever want a part-time position, you could apply for an IFA role here at Cameron James, because they've become so educated in the advice process because they've physically been through it. So the main things that people don't tell you is, one, it's hard work. And that's why you have to be working with a financial advisor who is really good and really efficient and really fast with your paperwork. A lot of clients say things like, oh, I just need you to sign a form and then I can transfer my pension. And I'm like, I wish we could get thousands of pounds in fees for signing a form for you. It doesn't work like that. It literally takes months and months and months. A typical DB advice process, I would say now, from start to finish, takes anywhere between 6 to 9 months. At the beginning, you have a 1-month period, typically speaking, for your scheme to produce your CETV. They actually legally have 3 months to produce your CETV. Let's call it 1 month though. Once they produce your CETV, there's then normally an extra month of chasing for the outstanding information that they've missed. You then have to submit it 1 month before the end of your CETV deadline, and it takes around 1 month for the DB report to be written. Then it probably takes about another 2 weeks for you to read the report, understand everything, submit it to the new SIP scheme, the SIP scheme to submit it to your pension transfer provider in the UK. Your provider in the UK then needs to complete a large amount of due diligence. Some of them have a 10, 15, 20 working day turnaround time just to review the email and the information that you've sent. Invariably, they then might take a further 1 or 2 weeks to do the administration and do any due diligence. They will then ask you to complete a money helper telephone call. So that's 4 months already. Then they ask you to complete a money helper telephone call. The money helper telephone call appointments, as we've seen online for some of my previous videos, normally there's about a 3-week waiting list to have the money helper telephone call if it's a DB advice service. So that's basically another month. You have the telephone call with the money helper, you send it back to your scheme. They then possibly take another month to do further research and diligence. Then they do the disinvestments, it has to go to the scheme actuary. Between the 6 to 9 months is basically the difference between a good DB provider in the UK, and there are some good ones out there. I know I'm always hating on DB providers and saying that they're very slow and inefficient, which a lot of them are, but there are some who are very efficient. They allow clients to download their CETVs electronically online. They have all the supporting information on a portal for the client to download. That speeds up the initial stage of the process. However, there's a lot out there. There's a company beginning with the name M, which we used to have a video on the channel. We've actually removed it because we were unsure if they were very unhappy about it. But that's basically the number one thing that people don't tell you. A DB pension transfer is going to take a very long period of time. So what that means is, obviously things like cost, service, performance, products, anything like that is really important. But you've also got to make sure the financial advisor you're working with, it's helpful if you like them or if you get on with them, because you're going to be dealing with them on email, on Zoom for a very long period of time. And if there's someone who can bring a little bit of humor to the process, so okay, your DB pension provider is completely messed up. They said they're going to send documentation, they never did. You need someone who's light-hearted about it, but is also getting the work done, ensuring you get the information as quickly as possible. So things take a very long period of time, and that's where you need to be asking your financial advisor really important questions. Who is going to be chasing my financial advisor? Who's going to be chasing my DB scheme? I've heard the information takes a long time. If the financial advisor said, oh, I'm going to be chasing them myself personally, can sound great. But actually, if your financial advisor is any decent, they will have a very full diary of appointments with clients. They haven't got time to be sitting on hold for 45 minutes sometimes to speak to a scheme, for them to say, oh, we need to speak to the actuary, call us back in a week's time. There's a lot of work and effort that goes into DB pension transfers. So you need to understand that your financial advisory firm is well set up. Here at Cameron James, we have a dedicated support team and a dedicated transfer team. And the transfers team job is effectively to call the seeding schemes every day, 9 till 5, all week long, all month long, all year long, to ensure that the information comes back. The other things that people are unlikely to tell you about final salary pension transfers is there's actually quite a lot of involvement on your side in terms of reviewing paperwork. Now, I would say in this modern era of using DocuSign, we used to, 5 years ago, I still remember it now, sitting in the office, getting on towards midnight, filling out 30 forms of paperwork, trying to not make bad handwriting to DHL it for a client for them to review if they're living on other sides of the world. Now, courier documents is seen as some type of opportunity of a scam. The financial advisor isn't with the person, increases the risk of having a scam. Back in the day, it was the only way of transacting business with people if you weren't in the same country as them, unless you were physically going to fly there, which obviously wasn't always suitable or appropriate to meet a client. So the DocuSign era now, where you sign everything electronically, you have to make sure that you're still reviewing the paperwork. I would say that a lot of clients, in all honesty, they return the DocuSign within 10 minutes. And I'm thinking, well, that's obviously great because it means they very much trust in myself and they trust in Cameron James. But actually, there's a lot of paperwork there for them to have read through. And it's really important for you to try to read through and understand things. Number 3 on my list of things that financial advisors might not tell you about your final salary pension transfer is that following the transfer, the money is effectively yours. You are the owner of the SIP, or you're the beneficiary owner of the SIP. What that means is, if your financial advisor is saying they're going to invest you into a certain product or a portfolio, actually, what you need to do, you can have an active involvement with them. So for example, we may well advise a model portfolio to our clients, but we do have an element of flexibility there. Or if they say wanted a dollar cost average into the market or invest in tranches, that's also possible. Now, on that topic, technically, economically speaking, from all the history and information we have, investing 100% of your portfolio on day one is the best thing to do. I actually had this conversation with a client last week. He had a DC $500,000 and a DB 1.9, so circa 2.5 million. We talked for a long period of time. The client's a smart guy, does a lot of reading online and really understands markets pretty well. At first, he was kind of talking about, shall we do tranches, shall we do this? Now, as a financial advisor, it kind of puts me in a difficult situation because I know, technically speaking, investing all the money on day one, 100%, is the best way for a portfolio to grow over the long term. However, when you're in a period such as possibly heading into a recession, and clients saying, should I be dollar cost averaging in? You're kind of a little bit, okay, maybe, and you start suggesting alternatives such as tranches and dollar cost averaging. But the main point of what I'm saying is, it is your money and you are in control. I will provide you with advice. Cameron James Advisor will provide you with advice. It's your ability to say, thank you for your advice, but no, I wish to have less equity exposure, or I understand that I have a balanced risk profile. However, I would like to have a higher equity equity weighting inside my portfolio because this pension forms a small part of my assets and I have other bits and pieces which are more conservatively invested. So point 3 is it's your money and you should never let your advisory firm or advisor tell you what to do with your money. They give you advice and you say yes or no. Guys, I hope that's been useful for you today on a couple of things you're unlikely to really hear about your final salary pension transfer. One of the services we do offer here at Cameron James, if you want to speak to any of our existing clients who've already been through a DB advice process, just let us know. We have a testimonials document which outlines all of our existing clients with their telephone and email number on there. And normally we ask clients to let us know as best practice if you do want to reach out to someone. We drop them an email and then you can reach out to them to understand how did their advice process go and what tips might they have for you. Guys, I hope it's been a useful video today. Look forward to speaking with you soon. And as always, take care with your UK pension assets.